Hello,
Hello.
Waliu.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. Can you hear
Sorry
me?
about the technical issue. I think it's a network thing. I was right
No problem.
online. Yeah. How are you doing today? How's
Yeah, I'm
your
fine.
weekend going?
Yeah,
Great,
fine,
great,
fine, fine.
great. We
I'm
have a
trying to
lot of people
see.
joining in already. Yeah.
I'm trying to see how I can fix this. Uh, Sorry, please. Um,
Okay. I'm trying to pin this the way I did the other time. I'm trying to pin the post.
I think it's fine this way anyway.
How did I pin it that time? I'm trying to pin it again and I'm not getting it. Yeah,
I
this
don't know how you
technology
pinned it
thing.
to.
Anyway, I think we should just start. We have quite a number of people online with us. If you can hear me, please wave, 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 wave. I want to see you wave. Um, why am I not seeing the waving clearly? I'm not seeing the comments coming in clearly. I guess it's like a network thing. I don't know. Okay, so you're all welcome to this series of mental health, workers' mental health and safety. It's series 10 actually. This is the 10th series. And we'll continue with our topic on coping with behaviors, different behaviors in the workplace. You know, our series is centered on workers' mental health and safety in the workplace. However, we have things that affect workers in the workplace from outside the workplace. So we touch on that as well. So I believe that this series or this program affects everyone because everyone is working as an adult. You are meant to work and earn income and not earn ill-health at your workplace, but earn have good health and still be able to earn income. So I would go quickly introduce myself once again for the purpose of people who are joining us for the first time, and of course because this series is being recorded. So my name is Omi Jasmine Omeke. I'm a lawyer, an health and safety advocate, and also an HR practitioner. So I call it tripled my career. So and everything is centered on employees' mental health and well-being. Like so, I tell myself as an employee advocate or an employee champion, as people know it out there. And with me is my co-host Waliu Adegoke, popular safety moment with Waliu. He'll be doing an introduction of himself as well when he gets into his own session of the discourse. But I'll just do a short one. Is an health and safety practitioner. With quite a number of years of experience and also a safety advocate. Yeah, he has his YouTube channel and his program, public transport program, preaching, taking out the health and safety gospel on the streets, trying to improve the health and safety culture in as we have it in our Nigerian environment. So today, again, we'll be talking about coping with different behaviors at work, part 2. I will just do a recap of what we learned last week. You know, I'll do a recap because it's important we have a flow. And so last week, my colleague took us on the definition of behavior. I talked about the different stressors that affect our behavior in and out of the workplace. I talked about, Lagos traffic, particularly, if you can remember that Lagos traffic can be a major stress. I talked about family relationship, people who are going through divorce, going through what they call it, disputes with their children, with their spouses as well. All these things can cause stress in the workplace. I mean, the way we behave in the workplace can affect the way we behave. And then we also defined behavior. We looked at the concept of having a perfect behavior or what we call a normal and an abnormal behavior. And I'm sure we all agreed at that session that we have normal and abnormal behavior, but there is really nothing called a perfect behavior in the sense that there's no superiority of behavior. We have react to situations differently. However, there's a standard that is expected of a normal person. There's a standard of behavior. And we went on to look at those things, those characteristics that form the standard of a normal behavior. My colleague my co-host took us through these standards, through these characteristics, and talked about a person being capable of changing his action as the situation requires. Take, for example, there's an alarm, a fire alarm, everyone is seated in the room. You're expected to walk through the door, or, go through the normal procedure of safety in getting to the mustering point, and not sitting down and laughing like nothing is happening. You expect to respond as situation has presented itself. That's a standard of behavior. And anything less than that, like anything that falls short of that, like that warrants you sitting down and laughing when everybody is trying to, play safe, everybody is scampering for safety, and there you are sitting there, you're laughing. It's begins to look like an abnormal behavior. He also talks about having an insight into cause and effect. You know that if you're on top of an high-rise building, if you jump down like that, you're going to break your head, you'll break your skull, or you're going to get injured. And when you lose that sense of cause and effect, then it looks like you're moving into the abnormal. I mean, you're actually abnormal. Yeah. So when you can no longer have an insight into the cause and effect of your actions. So there's really nothing, again, I would say there's really nothing called perfect, but these things form what we call normal or abnormal behavior. And when we see our colleague, or when we see someone at work who is going against these characteristics, who doesn't possess these characteristics anymore, we can say the person is displaying an abnormal behavior. Another one he mentioned was perception of reality. Like knowing who you are, knowing who you are shows that you're a normal person. When you are beginning to lose who you are, you don't know who you are again. Maybe you're at work, you're saying you're at work as a medical doctor, and you're saying you're a patient, or you're saying you're something else, and you're retreating it to people around you. Something is beginning to go nuts, and the person needs to be checked. And then when your motivations are purposeful, you can explain the reason for your actions. Is also another characteristic that shows that you are displaying a normal behavior. So, and making life plans, such as, renting an apartment, doing the things that you're supposed to do at a particular time in your life based on your, your standard of living and all that. All those characteristics I just mentioned shows that that person is normal. And when the person is not able to display these characteristics, we can be correct to say that that person is showing an abnormal behavior. So we're able to reach that conclusion that there's nothing called perfect, but there's something called an abnormal and normal behavior. We also spoke about defense mechanism. We said all of us go through one stress or the other in our everyday life. And in order to be able to still function, we put a certain kind of, I would call it like a shock absorber. You put it on to, to be able to still function despite the bad news, the negative things around you. You still have to carry on with life. So we put on these different defense mechanisms, and it's good that we identify them. Sometimes when we put them into use, they can bring negative effects, and sometimes they bring positive effects. And what are they? We mentioned different ones. We mentioned denial of reality. When people deny reality, maybe they are faced with the bad news, and immediately they said, God forbid. Take, for example, someone goes to the hospital and is told that diagnosis of cancer, that in so months' time, you are going to, go, and the person says, God forbid. That's denial of reality. It's not like it's bad for that moment. That's the way the body reacts so that it doesn't go into shock. And then we have rationalization, people trying to reduce the effect of the thing. Fantasy, we talked about repression, we talked about projection, we talked about conversion. If you want to know more about these defense mechanisms, we all use it in different ways, and there are different effects. We won't be able to take all these, go deep into them because of time. If you want to know more, we offer training programs. We do in-house training for different organizations. So you might want to find out, you might want to make your findings from, send us an inbox and all that. So I would leave the floor open to further discussion if you have something to say from last week, because we couldn't take a lot of questions from last week due to our time constraints. If you have something to say, you can send in your questions, you can join us, actually, we can add you in, and you can say something about workplace behavior and the issues that we just raised. And over to you, Walio. You've been a lot quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what happened though. I've actually been online since like 10 minutes before 5 o'clock. So
Oh
uh,
wow.
then I was prepared. All of a sudden, I sent you a message on WhatsApp. It wasn't going through. As in, I was
I
like,
noticed
"What's
that.
happening?" Yeah, the network
I've
went
been
off,
online
and
too. Mm,
that's what we're talking about. When we're talking about sudden stress, I just come and I need to meet up with 5 o'clock. So there's a way I just shut down my mind that whenever I come online, I come online. I shouldn't use that one to become a serious stress for me. So that was how I was able to manage my stress. And fortunately, and one thing people don't understand is that you can be able to manage your stress at a particular time that it comes to you. When you have a particular stressor that hits you at a particular time, and you're unable to have a defense mechanism, positive defense mechanism to deal with it at that time, you will not be able to give solution to that problem, because that stressor is a challenge that requires a solution. The solution can be relative, but it requires an action that needs to be taken. So when you now decide to focus on the emotions, on your stress and getting worried, it will not give you the ability to be able to think and give proper response to that stressor. So like what I did when I observed that I'm already getting late after preparing and getting ready, assuming I was focused on I need to meet up by 5, and I was worried about meeting up by 5 instead of worrying about how to make sure that I get here by 5. Maybe I won't have been here, because when you, like, if you rationalize, we talk about rationalization. When you rationalize, it's take that worry away from your brain, and you now focus your mind on how to address the problem. And that's what people don't
sure.
understand when we don't tell them to manage their stress or to manage whatever happens to them. There is a way the body, the mind, and the soul works together. Your body will respond to what the
Sure.
mind tells him. Sorry, the body, the mind, and the brain. There's a way your body will respond to what the brain tells him. So you need to calm your brain down to be able to address whatever stressors. And it comes, one of those ways it comes is through various defense mechanisms that you just spoke about. So today, my colleague has already discussed about what we had last week. My name is Wadi Adigoke, and I'm a favorite health and safety advocate, and I'm putting everything together to make sure that we preach the good safety gospel. That is the passion that we have. So today you'll be highlighting so we discussed about the defense mechanism, right? The previous time. I think you
Yes.
did talk about
You spoke
did you
a
talk
lot
about
about
personality?
yeah.
Did you talk about
Yeah.
personality? Which
No,
of
we
the
didn't talk
personality
about
did you talk about?
personality. We didn't talk about
Yeah,
personality disorders. We talked about
yeah. So
different defense mechanisms. Yeah.
okay, so the last time we discussed about um defense mechanisms, various types, and now we are talking about personality disorders. They are somehow related,
Yeah.
but one thing is that defense
Yeah.
mechanism is something that most of the time is what you put in to address a particular stressor that comes to you. When we're talking about personality disorder, it is what has become though defense mechanism too has become part of you. It's what you do to respond to stress, and it has become the way you behave. Personality disorder is more of your person. And one of the solutions when it comes to behavioral, what was it called? In the intervention, when it comes to the way we call it, therapeutic intervention, one of those first solution is to make you to know who you are. It is when you know who you are,
Yes.
and they tell you that this is your characteristics, this is the way you behave, this is your personality, and you are able to realize it. If you are not at the psychotic stage, because we have psychotic behavior, that is when you have already gone mad.
Yeah.
I'm very sure that anyone that is mad will not be here. So when someone has already gone mad, that one
No.
requires serious medical attention. But when it's something that
Sure.
is still at the stage where you can give therapeutic intervention, one of those solutions that they profile is for you to know who you are. For example, I'll be talking about two behaviors. I'll be talking about passive dependent and passive aggressive personality. We're talking about, let me start from passive aggressive personality. When we talk about passive aggressive personality, it's someone that responds to a situation in a passive way, not in an active way. There's a between when you are when you are responding to, you are angry and you are responding physically, yes, actively, maybe by voicing out or by shouting or by hitting the table. We have those people that are like that. They will respond, they will shout,
Yeah.
and they would show that aggression immediately. But we have some other people that we call them passive aggressive. They are aggressive but not actively. They are individuals that have the kind of personality that they express their own hostility in indirect and non-violent ways. In other words, passively. They express their hostility. When we talk about hostility, I think one of these days we'll still talk about, I think we've not discussed about one of our series, we discussed about hostility already. But those that have not joined, just check our previous videos, you'll see what we discussed about hostility. When you try to create an hostile environment, when someone is unable to speak, or someone is unable to communicate, or someone feels scared to come to work. So some people express that hostility and violence in indirect ways. The characteristics of such individuals include procrastination. Why today? What can I do today? What I can do tomorrow? One of those things they do is they deliberately forget what you tell them to do, and this happens most times in the workplace. They deliberately keep something from being alone, deliberately keeping something from being done. Inefficiency. Like, for example, maybe they are angry with their boss and their boss tells them, this is your assignment. But because they're angry with their boss, one way or the other, they would deliberately forget it. It has become a personality. It has become their personality. And that is just telling the boss that I'm fighting with you. But this time around, they are not fighting physically. The boss has to submit an assignment by 10 o'clock a.m. in the morning, and the person deliberately forgot to carry out the assignment. It's already showing aggression, but not in the active way, not in the way you and I will fight, but it's already showing aggression and passing a message to the boss. It happens so well in the workplace. Even these days, in our culture here in Yoruba land, when you call a child, I mean that I know most of us must have experienced this, especially for kids. When you call them, maybe you call them Muiz, sometimes they will deliberately not answer. They will deliberately not answer you. They had you, but because they don't want to do that thing, they will deliberately not. If they continue with that behavior, or not respond when they call them, it will now become a part of them. Then that is what Yoruba now call Agboya. I'm very sure that some of us might have heard of that word, Agboya, because before when they call them, they had, but they will not respond.
Yeah.
They will not respond. So with time, it has become part of them. And when they now call them now, they won't even hear again because they already have that Agboya. So it's a thing that accumulate together after some time. So in the workplace, it doesn't have to do with maybe calling them. It can be assignments. They will deliberately forget to do the assignment because they've been used to not doing the assignment given to them. And that alone is already creating aggression in the workplace. This type of behavior is more often present in our work situation, but can be present in situations with other people. The passive-aggressive personality never really confronts a problem directly, behavior which results in no problem solving at all. This is a negative behavior. We need to emphasize on the fact that there's a negative behavior because some behaviors are actually some personalities that are there are personalities that are actually positive, but this is a negative behavior. This person is trying to create an hostile environment. It's trying to create a violent environment, but not in the direct way, not in the way of insulting people, not in the way of fighting its colleague, but in indirect way based on its responsibilities at work, deliberately coming late, And with time, it will now become a normal thing for him to come late. It has become his personality. It is called a passive-aggressive personality, doing things that will hurt the other person in indirect way. That at the end of the day, if the other person now responds physically, they will now say that that person is the aggressive person. Meanwhile,
It's
he has been
violence.
aggressive indirectly at work. So we need to identify these personalities and such people that have such personalities so that we can tell them that this is how you are, who you are, and we can find solutions to them. If you have any other kind of personality that you know of, you can put it in the comment section. Let us have your comments and let us see how we can continue with this discussion. Before I go to the second personality disorder, I want Mrs. Bumi to continue with training today. Sorry, with okay, yeah, the training anyway because we are giving you we are giving you free actually. And between I and Mrs. Bumi, we know how far we have gone with this training in some organizations. So, but we are giving it for you for free, so no problem.
Yeah, I'm sure people really want to know more, but the thing is, we can't really talk about behavior in a 30-minute session. So that is why we had to break it into different parts, And I know that a lot of issues that we face at work is stemming from people's behavior, interpersonal relationship. Is very serious, and the way it affects productivity at work is immeasurable. Even based on data, in the United States and some other countries that have this data based on productivity, they are able to measure, workers' behavior as against the output. We see that a lot of money, a lot of money is being lost in terms of productivity in the workplace as a result of people's behavior. This is how very serious it is. And we also passing this knowledge in such a way that people will understand that you don't have to be a mental health professional before you are aware. You have what they call mental awareness. You have to understand that there are different kind of behaviors at work. These people are still functional in your workplace, in your compound, in the market, everywhere you meet them. They are still functional. They are still able to function within the workplace. You can't remove them because of their kind of behavior, but they are different from yours, and somehow we need to be able to manage them. So this session is not necessarily to make you a therapist. It's to help you to be able to manage, people, and it's not to stigmatize. We always say that because the topic on behavior is very interesting. When people hear it, you want to tag people. When you see someone behaving a certain way, you want to. There's a temptation because you know so much about behaviors. You study so much, you've read so much. So there's that temptation to want to tag someone else that, oh, I think this person is suffering from so and so personality. No, that is not what the topic on mental health is meant to do. The topic on mental health, in fact, within the workplace, is meant to be inclusive, to include people that are struggling with one personality disorder or the other, is to include them, to be able to manage them. We'll be talking much later about these management techniques. I know these are the kind of questions I want to ask. You're talking about behavior, You've not told us about management. How do we manage them? What are the causes? What are the effects? What are the effects of them, and how do we manage them? Yes, we are getting there. But it's very important that we identify these behaviors first. I mean, that's the first step. The fact that you know that this kind of behavior exists, and these are the characteristics of this kind of behavior in the workplace. When this person is exhibiting this kind of behavior, is that they're suffering from what we call a personality disorder already, and they might need some kind of intervention so that it doesn't turn to a psychotic one. So people start from behavioral. Sometimes when a mental issue is not so medical, it's not something that has to do with chemical imbalance. When it has to do with a behavioral thing that someone has developed over a long period of time, it is easy to resolve it at the early stage. When it's becoming like a personality disorder, it's very, very easy to, it's easier than when it turns into a psychotic state, when the person begins to act abnormal, like those characteristics that we pointed out at the beginning of this session. So you don't want it to get to that place where the person begins to act abnormal, the person begins to go into depression or is suicidal before it is addressed. So as managers, as supervisors, as colleagues in the workplace, it is good that we are mentally aware of this kind of personality, and we cannot overemphasize that. I would have suggested to Wally, I know that there are two kinds of personality. I found that very interesting in my research. I found out that there are two kinds of personalities that are always mismatched. People always confuse it. And so when someone is quiet, are a very quiet personality, very into themselves, like nerdy, all this kind of nerds, they say the person is antisocial. Waliu, is that really an antisocial personality? When someone is introvert, an introvert does not like dealing with people, does that mean the person is antisocial? Is that the name for it?
Yeah, I think as antisocial in a sense is a very extreme case. When you say someone is such person is not antisocial, because when you see antisocial person can wake up one day and snap his and just snap his brother or kill his brother and still come out and be laughing. That is antisocial, and such personality is not the same
Can you
as someone who
adjust
is quiet.
sorry, can you adjust your microphone? I can't hear you well.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Okay,
What
Tosin
I'm
said
saying is,
she does not think so. Tosin said she doesn't
yeah,
think so. I
really,
also don't think so. Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying,
Yes.
that's my response. I'm telling you that antisocial is an extreme, is different from someone who is a quiet person. That one is more of a schizoid personality, and it's more of schizophrenia.
Schizoid.
Yeah,
Schizoid.
schizoid
Yeah.
personality. And but in the real sense, when you're talking about antisocial person is an extreme case. They don't want to follow the law. They don't want to follow the rules. They don't want to. The social people think that the social is a social gathering. That it doesn't want to go for social gathering and
No.
want to sit down at them. No,
Yeah.
the social is that the
Mm-hmm.
laws, the procedures, the rules, the guides that guide you being in a particular country or you being in a particular place. They don't want to follow it. They are the criminals. They are the
Mm-hmm.
ones that always that
Yes.
kill.
The highway
They will kill
robbers.
someone. I watched a video this morning of a lady that was butchered into pieces.
Wow.
Those kind of things were done by human beings, not by animals. Those kind of people they don't have they don't have they don't care about, they don't have that feeling anymore. Those ones have no emotional feeling. I don't know. I as a person, I won't lie to you. Since I've grown old to be able to kill a ram during Ramadan, I can't kill it. In fact, I can't kill. I've never killed a chicken before. Chicken.
Mm.
I've never
Well,
killed a
someone
chicken
just said
before.
something here. He said, I think an antisocial person hates people, but a quiet person just doesn't like interacting with people. Yeah, that's the characteristics
Yeah,
right there.
yes,
And
yes,
you
very
know why I
correct.
brought this up? A lot of people, when they see a child that does not like relating, it's just an introvert, say, oh, she's antisocial. I think that's the wrong word to use for a child. It is not antisocial. The right word would have been that person is an introvert. And if it has now turned to a serious personality disorder, that the person is so seriously introverted, like it does not take cognizance of human what they call it, human elements. They are just centered on maybe writings and all that. That kind of person is a schizoid personality, and it is not
Personality.
good for some kind of environment. Like you cannot put that kind of person as a customer relationship officer, but they can function in another role at work, despite the fact that that is a personality disorder. But it's not an antisocial personality. An antisocial personality, in my own opinion, cannot even function in the workplace. They are not even meant for the workplace. They need to be resolved because they will cause chaos, complete chaos.
The
They
thing
don't
is,
obey
the thing
rules.
is,
They don't obey
how
anything.
how do they get? How will such person even get into the
Yeah,
workplace in the first place?
exactly.
Because we are talking about
Exactly.
criminals
But
there. Someone
we
is
have them
antisocial than a
actually.
case.
Yes,
Serious. Yeah.
we have them in, there are different spectrums to this behavior. They slip into the workplace somehow, and then you discover that they exist. They don't follow rules. They don't follow any code of conduct. You're on your own. In fact, when people are going this way, they love to go the other way. They are wired out that way, and then it graduates. It doesn't start with the person trying to kill somebody. It just starts with the person not wanting to obey even little simple rules, and then it graduates into not wanting to obey rules that are so sacrosanct as human life. It
Mm.
goes into that. So basically, an antisocial person is someone who doesn't follow rules and regulation, and not an introvert. Not
Yeah.
necessarily an introvert. Could be introverted, but that is not what makes them an introvert. That's
So
not what makes them antisocial. Sorry. Yeah.
we appreciate your input, Miss
Sort to.
Sahajukula Samurai. Who who is this human
Okay.
being? Eh?
Someone said,
That this
what's
human
that?
being. I'm talking about being that wrote that long name. Okay, we have another person, Vio Novo. I think very the name sounds familiar. So true. I've also heard of common perspective on antisocial behavior. Okay, okay.
Okay, yes.
You have also had that
Yeah.
common perspective. Okay, you've also heard about it. So definitely we are portraying what you've heard already. It's nice to see you here. Yes.
Yes.
So, Miss Tommy Singh, yes, we recognize your input. We also give room for those that want to join us live so that you can also contribute to the session to make it much more engaging. So, on this note, I'll be going to the second personality that I have for us today. If I may I, my lord, my lawyer, may I? If I may, if I may.
Sorry. So, what did you say? I didn't get that part.
I'm saying may I, if I may talk about the second personality that I have for today. I'm going to discuss about two
Of
personalities.
course.
I want to discuss about passive aggressive and passive dependent. So I'm asking if I may
Yeah.
continue on
Sure.
my discussion. If I
Of
may I?
course. Of course. You are my co-host, so you
so,
can continue. You can go on and on till they stop you.
so, so you're talking
Of
about
course.
passive dependent personality. This sort of personality is extremely dependent on other people and suffers acute discomfort, almost panic and having to be alone. They always want to be alone. Okay.
Yeah.
No. They don't want to be alone. They don't want to be alone. You know, the other time it said passive aggressive is kind of negative. This kind of it's not also very good, but it's on the positive side when they use this kind of person that has this personality. Someone who is passive dependent, it depends on other people. He's always
Yeah.
scared of doing something alone.
Doing
He
it on his
always
own.
wants people to be with him. He's not sure if he's doing the right thing. He's always scared. He's always panicking whenever he has to be alone to carry out an assignment. He has acute discomfort. He can't do things alone. Such person lacks self-confidence, and such individual feels helpless working by themselves, even though they may be very competent and have good working skill. These people, it's not that they are not competent, it's not that they are not good, it's not that they are not productive, but they just have that feeling that they can't work alone. These are the people that are very good, that can be good at teamwork. These kind of people are always good, but they are much more productive when they work as a team. When you highlight this kind of people, you know them, you see them, you have them in your team. The best thing you can do to trigger out their highlight them in a team of people that can scrutinize them to bring out their best. They are very productive, but the only thing is that they are always scared of working alone. These kind of people would have been affected during the COVID period, during the COVID-19 era. They will have been so much affected because they have to work from home and they don't have team to work with. They don't want to be
That is
alone.
so ineffective.
They want to sit doing assignments together with people, carrying out assignments. So these kind of people will have been affected during
Yeah.
COVID era. So aside from that, they are very productive. A listing of characteristics typical
When it
of
comes
this.
to teamwork.
Yeah, the kind of characteristics about these people, like I said, number one is that they lack self-confidence and they have this overwhelming feeling of helplessness, fear, and indecision. They don't know how to make decisions. You see, well, once upon a time, I used to fall in this category of not being able to make a decision. I'm always,
Being indecisive.
yes, yeah, I have that weakness sometimes. They go like being indecisive. I don't know. Maybe I choose this or this or do this or this. I think that was part of the reason why I'm getting married very late. because I could not decide who I want to get married to. That is by the way. So what I'm saying here is that I have this indecision. So I realized it and I table it out and found solution to it. And one of the solutions I found is that number one, I pray towards it, and number two, anything I choose, I would agree that it is my also responsibility. So if I've chosen this and it didn't work out, I won't blame myself for not choosing the other one. I will just make it I will just understand that okay, I didn't choose it, even if the other one too might not even work out. So I try my best to find the best, do my research and just choose the one I want to choose. So these people are people that they feel helpless. They have feeling of helplessness. They have fear in them because they are scared of if I. They are good though, but they are scared of what will be the output of this thing. So
Yeah.
they have this passive
Those kind of
dependent
people, they need like
personality.
very good supervisors and very good
Yes,
team
writers,
players
yes,
to be able to bring out
yes,
the best in
yes,
them.
yes. Even if they are the head of, even if they find their, if they find themselves at the top as managers, as
Yeah.
directors, they still always there are people that still always want to hear the opinions of others before they finalize
Of
their
other
assignment.
people. They
Yeah,
are
they
what we call
click.
laissez faire. You see, laissez faire leaders. Like they are not democratic. They don't just take decision. Everybody just do what they like
Yeah,
under them when
yes,
they are
yes,
leaders. They're not
yes.
they are
So
not the democratic. People confuse that. They say they are not democratic leaders. Basically, they don't take decision, and that can really cause heads to jam. Well, that could cause heads to jam. So I could say that even that kind of personality, they have some traces of the passive aggressive personality because your inability to take a decision or be firm, because as a leader I think you mentioned in one of our trainings that you have a combination of three
yeah,
attributes
three
as
F,
a
three F.
good
Yeah,
leader.
firm
The
and friendly.
first three
You
F's:
need to be firm. You need
firm,
to be
friendly,
fair. You need to be
and
friendly. Firm,
what?
friendly, and fair. And fear. You need to be fair in your decisions. You need to be firm in your decisions, and you need to be
Yes,
friendly.
okay, I get that. Yes, so for some kind of personality, imagine not such kind of personality as a leader, Wale. That's disastrous because your inability to be able to be to take decisions or be firm about a particular decision, even if you have to seek the opinions of others, you have to be the center that is holding. Because if the center is not holding, things fall apart. So if you're that kind of leader that has a passive dependent personality, then you might need to check it. You might need to work on it. And I also wanted to add, well, I think this can be as a result of nurture a lot of times. As a parent, and I know we have some young parents here. Sometimes, as much as we don't want to see our kids suffer, we don't want to see our kids go through some tough times. It's just very natural. Parents, we always want to help. I think it's very important that we allow our kids to do some things by themselves. Little things in the
Oh,
house. Your child wants to buckle their shoe. You are running late. Quite all right. The best thing you want to do is to be earlier with the child when the child is dressing. When you know the child is very slow at doing things and it affects your punctuality, what you want to do is to make that child start that thing early and not to help the child do it. Because if you're helping the child to do every single task that concerns them, you are making them to depend on you, and when you are not there, you are making them to depend on other people. So we cannot overemphasize the fact
mm,
that we make these mistakes a lot of times, even the best of us. Like you see a child trying to hold something and you quickly run there. Sometimes just let them. When you are too
yeah, 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 yeah,
overprotective and you are
you are
you
very
are raising
correct.
a child that is dependent. Yes. So
Yeah, yeah,
I
you're
think
very
it's something
correct.
that needs
Yeah,
to be
I think
addressed because we have
yeah.
young
Someone
parents
made
here as well. Yeah.
yeah. Someone made a point. He said an example is also
Always
of a
asking for
passive
external
dependent,
opinion.
always asking for external
Mm,
opinions. Yeah, you see,
I saw that.
um, that someone is asking for external opinions doesn't necessarily mean that the person is passive dependent. As a good leader, it's always I think it's a good characteristic to seek people's
So,
opinion. Yeah, on things before making decision. But on the final
mm,
decision, you should be able. But these people they don't actually make any decision. They are indecisive,
yeah.
even till the end. It
You
is
shouldn't leave it
even
open-ended.
if the majority is going to the is going down south, they are going down south because they have this personality of depending on what people do. Like I said, they might be productive, they are good, they have good skills, they can deliver, but they depend on people around them.
On
Not
other
that the
people.
people should necessarily assist them, but they have that feeling, they have that indecisive nature, they have that indecisive nature, they have that fear, and they feel helpless. So they want to be in a team, they don't want to do the assignment alone. Someone like me, I can decide to do things alone, but not everybody will be like that. So passive dependent person is more of a
Yeah.
person who has who extremely on the extreme end. We need to know that extremely on is on the extreme end. Yes, you can depend on people for some things in your assignment. Yes, you can't know everything.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
when
it's
the
really
person
extreme. Like
extremely
the person
depends
is known for that.
and
The
when
person
the
is known
person
for
is given
that.
when the person is given an
Mm-hmm.
assignment to go and do alone, the person starts getting scared. Like he can't do it. He has a belief that he can't do it.
Mm.
But he can actually do it. But because of nature, and like you said, part of those things that bring about such personality is from childhood, when a kid cannot be
Yeah,
left to
nurture
do things on his own and is always being assisted on every single thing. When he makes a
on
mistake,
everything.
correct him. Okay, maybe like the most common one is that kids used to wear their slippers the other way, right on left, left on. I'm still trying to do a research on why it's always like that. I don't know why it's always like that. They will always wear, because it's either way. It's either you wear it rightly, right or left, or you wear it the other way. But most times, 90% of the time, they always wear the other way. I don't know, maybe there's something that is, maybe there's a way it happens naturally in their brain, that they feel that, okay, the right to go to the right to complement the left, or I don't know, because it's always like that. I'm still trying to do that research. It's
Children,
always like that. They
you're
always wear it
talking
the other
about
way.
children. I didn't hear the early part while you're talking about children, right?
I said they have that there's this thing of wearing right to their left and left shoe to their right leg.
Okay, yes, banana
Yeah,
feet.
yeah. I'm still trying to do
Banana
that
feet.
to do that research
To
on
find
why
out
it's
where
always
they do
like
that.
that. Because it is two ways.
My daughter is
Yeah,
6 years old and she still does that.
yeah, yeah,
Up to this very
because
morning.
it's two ways. It's either you wear it rightly or the other way. It's just two options. It's just two. But why is
Yeah,
it
so
that
but why
most
do you wear
times,
it wrongly?
why? I think there's a way the brain has been wired. I don't know. Maybe it's just like that. They think that the left
Wally,
will
there are some
complement
kids.
the right.
There are some kids that don't do that. Do you know there are some? It's funny. There are some kids that don't do that at all. They never do that. But there are some kids that they constantly do it up to when they even get to 8 or 9. My daughter still does it. You know, my daughter's own. I could have explained it if it was just I witnessed. I could have explained as, because as a child she used to be an ambivert, like ambidextrous, not ambivert, ambidextrous. She uses both hands. Up till last year, she uses both hands to write. But now she chose left.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to think that, is it because, you know, she's able to use, is there
Maybe
something, is
I
there a way to
don't.
attest the brain?
Yeah. Our lady here,
Yeah.
Arajuku last Sumarai. Madam, please go
Please
and
don't
change this
write
your
the
name.
lungs.
Don't stress us. Please don't stress us. Okay, Mr.
Oh,
Gbemi, we
sorry.
can see you. Mr. Gbemi, we can see you. Please kindly like our live video. I can see some likes. Some people are pressing the like button. Please press the like button. Let us see that you are listening to us. Mr. Gbemi, yeah, thanks
Yeah.
for waving. Thanks for coming. We can see your presence.
That's my
Mrs.
uncle, by the way, Waliu. That's my uncle. That's my dad's
Oh,
younger brother.
all right. Thank you very much, sir. Miss
Thank you.
Lasumorai. Miss Lasumorai, I know you personally. Miss Bumi, this is my fiancée. Oh. She's one with that long name.
Oh wow.
She's not always doing the normal thing. I don't know. Look at the name that she's using.
Okay.
Mrs. Vionovo, am I correct? Thanks for coming.
Yes.
Mr. Anwil, thanks for
Yeah.
coming. I can see Official Okiki Ayo. Yes, thanks for coming. Yes, Miss Tommy Singh. We can see everyone. Yeah. So I think what's the time now? What's the time? This is almost 1 hour. I think we have.
It's almost 5. I think it's safe
I
to
think
round
we are.
up.
Yes.
It's safe to
We
round
are.
up. And
50 minutes.
yeah, it's
So
safe to round up.
you can round up, ma. I think we've discussed about
All right.
passive aggressive and passive dependent personalities, and we have highlighted what passive
Yeah.
aggressive means and what passive dependent means. How passive aggressive is not needed in the workplace, and passive aggressive, it can be managed. Like we said, the first thing in therapeutic intervention is to let you know who you are. So passive
Who you
aggressive
are.
is to
And
Yeah,
also
yeah,
let the other person
it
know
can be
who
positively managed and then do training, soft
mm-hmm.
skills training, emotional and intelligence trainings, and the likes. Then a passive
Yeah,
dependent too can also be managed effectively in the workplace. So our main aim is to
yeah,
make us to understand that irrespective of who we are from different backgrounds, different understanding, different behaviors, different personalities, different culture, different backgrounds, but we are coming together in the workplace to achieve a common goal. So there are so many things that will affect individual ability to build a common goal, because what will affect your productivity more is teamwork. And if different people are coming together, they need to synergize to make sure that they have that teamwork. So we need to understand ourselves better and our personalities. I can see someone, okay, still the same woman. Samurai as in samurai. Okay, oh, okay. Oh. Thank you very much, Mrs. Samurai. We'll see in the other room. So, Mrs. Bumi, please kindly end
all
the
right.
session.
Thank you, guys. You've done the summary. It is a continuous discussion. We'll have this session recorded to be on our YouTube, Safety Moments with Wali on YouTube. And we'll still be having more discussion on behavior in the workplace. We would encourage you, send us questions. If you have particular situations in your workplace, you want to be anonymous, you want us to address, we'll be able to address it during these sessions. It brings what we learn in a theoretical way to a practical life, as we're able to address it together and we're able to give our views on it as well. Um, keep keep on the vibes, vibe on vibes, have a good vibe week, have a mentally safe week, and see you in another 2 weeks Sunday. What's that, Waliu? In another 2 weeks Sunday, we hope to see you and vibe with you on mental health and safety. It's still me, Bumi Jasmine Omeke, with your popular co-host, Safety Moments with Waliu La. Have a beautiful week,
Yes,
everyone.
so yeah, I mean, I'll give them I'll give them my own song, because this song is cool anyway. But I prefer this song. You like this song? I mean, like I don't feel like.